Hello, 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 everyone. How's it going today? I am here with some of the most wonderful streamers I know. Would you guys like to introduce yourselves?
After you, sir.
See, they're so polite. They.
I'm Landy. I run the Landi Lodge over on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter. We talk about games there, primarily RPGs like Final Fantasy and Kingdom Hearts. And we recently started a morning show that we go live Friday mornings, 7 a.m., and just talk pretty generally about gaming news. But yeah, that's pretty much what I do. Now, Andy, the floor is yours.
Yeah, my name is Andy Brew, and I'm just a variety streamer. We do all kinds of stuff. I primarily focus on just doing first playthroughs. I make other videos as well, highlight videos, reaction videos, along with other I just make whatever content I kind of want to make. It's just me. The channel is just me. Yeah, I love Kingdom Hearts. We love Final Fantasy. Big platformer guy. Just a variety of things that I enjoy. And there were a variety of things that we saw this week that I would be happy to discuss with you guys as well. So yeah, that's me.
I don't even know where to begin with this because there's quite a few things that I'm like really excited about.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything you guys want to talk start just kick off with particular?
Well, dude, I mean, I think I know for me, like a big one was the Ghost of Tsushima sequel
Yeah.
at the State of Play. Everything that I wanted or that I was excited for was shown at the State of Play. Like, not really a whole lot at TGS for me personally, but we knew it was coming. We knew Sucker Punch was developing it. I feel a little gypped that, and you know what, this is as a Sly Cooper fan, it hurts every time, but it's kind of just beating a dead horse at this point. It was Sly Cooper's 22nd anniversary, and then Sucker Punch was like, here's Ghost of Yote. And I'm like, it hurts, but I get it, like I'm for it. Because Ghost of Tsushima was, if FF7 Remake did not come out in 2020, that would have been my game of the year that year. That was a phenomenal game. The story very much took me by surprise. It was really, really good. Um,
Oh, the
Tugged at my
combat was.
heartstrings a little bit. The combat's fun. The combat is so it's fun. It's kind of like just Simon Says though, because like you have like these stances and then you have enemies that are weak to certain stances. It's like, okay, this type of enemy, I'll just use this stance and they're dead basically. So I kind of am curious to see if in Ghost of Yote, which is what the Ghost of Tsushima sequel is called, it takes place I think 400 years after Ghost of Tsushima. I'm kind of curious to see if they're going to like adapt that or if they're going to go a different route with the combat. But yeah, that was one that I was excited for. And we got a female protagonist, which I think is really cool.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, I'm very excited to see what this character's story is and what her journey will be. Because
Yeah.
there's not much we know other than like the date and the location. Do
Yeah.
we? I don't even think we know her name yet. Like the character.
I don't think we know her name, but you can, from what just kind of what the trailer is hinting. Jin Sakai, whenever he went on his journey, I'm not gonna spoil too much, but he definitely like started something, right?
Yeah.
And it seems like it's inspiring other, you know, um, samurais or ronins or whatever to kind of follow that path. Now, I don't know what her motivations were. Jin's story is pretty clear. He's kind of like more so on a quest for revenge, and then he kind of goes down like the path of the ghost, and then there's this whole dynamic of like, do I retain my honor or do I give it up but to for a good cause? Do I fight dirty even though it's dishonorable? Do I do this to win this war against the Mongols? And then that it leads to a lot of like really interesting conversations, a lot of tension between characters and things like that. And I actually don't know how Ghost of Yote is going to top Ghost of Tsushima. Like I really am not sure because that game, the story for that game, I thought was I'm not gonna say it was perfect, but it was pretty well done. and I think they can really top it with the combat. But like in terms of story, I have no idea like what they can do to you know
And
to
yeah,
basically make it better.
yeah. I think I know a lot of people wanted to see like Jin back.
Yeah, and
Um,
I kind of did
and
too
I
originally because there are two different endings depending
yes,
on a choice that you make, and one is more canon than the other. And so in my head, I thought they were going to play off that ending. And then that was going to be the sequel. But also at the same time, it's, thinking about it, I'm like, I don't really know how much more they can do with his story. Because, like, there's, like, things that they could do, but I don't know if you could do a whole game's worth of content with his story
and
going forward.
oh, I was gonna say there's also like nothing keeping them from going back if they choose to do that later too.
Right.
You know that
Yeah,
like
yeah, that's true.
if they can come up with a story that they feel satisfied with, then that's perfect. But like if they felt like it's better to move on to a new character, then it was probably better to move on to
Yeah.
a new character
And I think
and
that's
tackle
probably
that
going to
story.
be the better choice for them.
Yeah,
I think that's going to be because they're definitely going to reference him. They're definitely going to reference like the previous game. I'm just like really curious as to what the plot of this game is going to be.
yeah, yeah. Oh, what were you gonna say,
Landy, you were
Landy?
going to say
Yeah.
something.
So I'm someone who I actually was really hoping Jin Sakai would come back because I absolutely
Mhm.
love that character, and
Me too.
I also half convinced myself that they were the perfect guest for Soul Calibur 7, but
Mm.
doesn't it can't be. That said, um,
Right.
I wanted another game with Jin, but when I think about it, if they piled up 2 or 3 games with Jin and then moved on to another era, that would have been a much tougher pill to swallow. So I think doing this
For
early
sure.
is actually a smarter move, and it allows them
Yeah.
to move along a historical timeline and tell different stories about being a samurai in different ages, as
Yeah.
opposed to just telling stories within lifetime. Like the samurai history spans centuries. So to keep the IP glued to just one era with Jin, I think it's actually quite smart to start expanding into other eras. And what I think would be cool too is think about it like this now. They establish an anthology kind of like Final Fantasy, Ghost of, Ghost of. There's no
Mhm.
reason, kind of like what Trousers was saying, they can't just go make Ghost of Tsushima 2 after this game.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Now each one has their own sort of like,
Yeah.
again, sequel, trilogy, however far they choose to go with them. And also, Andy, when you're talking about referencing Jin in some way, of course, he's the ghost of Tsushima. We're going to see a
Yeah,
ghost.
he's the
Yeah.
origins of like the ghost, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
what you were saying about I with it being so it's in a different it's 400 years later. I think that's
300.
also how what's that?
I think it's 300.
Yeah, it's like 300 it's like between 300 and 400, I think, something like that. But that's also how they are probably going to change the combat because fighting is going to be a lot different. You're going to have more tools at your disposal, or maybe different tools at your disposal. You're going to be able to get more creative with the way that you can kill enemies and things like that. So I'm very much looking forward to that. But again, I feel like for me, it's going to be very, very difficult to top the first game.
I think that yeah, I think it's too almost iconic to like top. But it doesn't need to top the first game. It just needs to be really good, right?
Yeah.
Like
True.
perfect.
True.
Yeah, you don't need to like always. Well, the goal is to always strive to be better and better and better. But like as a player, I just want to play a really good game with a really good story. I don't need it to be better than Ghost. I didn't need like
Right.
Kingdom Hearts 3 to be better than my favorite game, Kingdom Hearts 2. That's a big
Yeah.
ask, you know.
Yeah.
I would want that obviously, but like I didn't need it.
Yeah.
I also kind of want to like talk about like the landscapes we've seen in that trailer too.
Dude.
That's so beautiful. Like
Dude, we went from like seeing one horse, run on screen to like a whole like
like
herd
I
of
heard,
horses,
yeah.
and I'm like the power of the PS5, like yes.
Oh, and I don't know, that field of just yellow flowers was
Yeah.
so beautiful to me. And the I'm actually like having the trailer up right now. This any of the flower scenes, it's so ridiculously beautiful. Like
Yeah.
they're all
Well,
flowing in the
yeah.
wind. It's like so peaceful, even when it's like chaotic around it. It's
Yeah, and there was even a lot of imagery revolved around like the flowers in the first game, especially like at the end too. So like yeah, I don't know, man. Like I'm really looking forward to it. I hope that it does well. I
I
hope that it
really
does
want
well.
to I want to see it succeed. We need Ghost 3 next year. No, just kidding. But yeah, that's really all I have to say about Ghost. It's just there's so
Mhm.
little we know about it where it's very exciting that there's so little we know about it.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah, and I like that their reveal trailer.
Oh, good.
Sorry, what was that?
No, I was saying I think gamers are starving for new IPs too.
yeah.
And Ghost of
Yeah.
Tsushima was such a breath of fresh air a few years ago, you
Mhm.
know? And
It has
so you said it doesn't need to be as good as Ghost of Tsushima, but I'm gonna disagree a little bit. I think it
okay.
kind of does.
Mm.
Kind of does. I think if Jin was still your protagonist, then maybe not, because it's a sequel. It's a sequel. But
Sure.
I don't know. They
I
made that game when there was a PS4. There's a PS5 now.
and I
True.
yeah, that's true. And I guess that's pretty fair too, because like normally I
The
guess when
game- that's all I'm gonna say.
yeah, well when you make when you make a sequel, you need to justify the reason there's a sequel.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I guess like I'm expecting greatness from this game still. I guess I didn't mean to like belittle that part either, though.
Oh no,
Like
no,
yeah,
I didn't think that at all. Right?
okay,
Like I didn't think that at all. As long as like you enjoy it, right? Like that's what matters.
yes,
And that's kind of the wheelhouse that I'm in. But I always think like like no studio goes into making a sequel to a very successful IP and being like, okay, how can we like not make this as good as the last one? You know what I mean? Like they always want it to be better. So that's also my hope as well that it is better. And I was gonna say something else in regards. I don't remember what it was. If it's important, it'll come back.
okay.
But if it's important, it'll come back.
Uh, yeah. You guys have anything else you want to say about Ghost, or do you want to move on to the next game?
I don't think so. I think I'm good.
Good. Okay. I know for me at least, one thing I got extremely excited about. It was such a small thing, but Astrobot DLC.
Yes, yes. Thank you. I was like, I know he's gonna say it because I know he's playing it and he's played through it.
It's so good.
Yes.
I only have the last like secret mission left to do too. I need to beat it.
Okay, so like I am ecstatic and over the moon that there's like speed run levels that they're
Yes.
adding. But dude, like, because I think like we knew that they were going to have DLC. We knew that it was going to be like some kind of time trial thing or whatever it was. Dude, I hope that they add time trials to all the other levels though.
So
Like, just add a time, like, please, because some of those levels are so fun to just like blitz through, especially with some of the power ups you have. I'm like, dude, like I play Crash Bandicoot, okay? Those
Yeah.
games are fun to sprint through. But dude, like that I feel like Astrobot could really like I don't need not even benefit from it, but like because I think it's a 10 out of 10 game. I think it's one of the best platformers I ever played, you know.
Well,
but man,
for
add
me,
it to every single level.
they added they had like time trials in Astro's Playroom with the and the I think for me the part I loved about it was they had a leaderboard, but like you could sort it based off your friends too, and then you kind of have like bragging rights there.
100%. Yeah.
And
well, I think they're doing something similar with this, right?
I hope it's the same. I hope it's the same.
Okay.
I don't know if it is, but I totally hope it's the same. because that was
Yeah.
so fun. Like, and the replayability with time trials just goes like it goes really hard.
And there's
there,
so
too.
many levels, dude. There's so many levels in Astrobot too. Like I think it would be great. I think it would be great.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to. I think they said they're adding 10 new bots. We know 2 of them,
I
being
think
Eve and like the Helldivers guy.
I would imagine there's
But-
like 4 Helldivers, right? Because like
Yeah,
it's a 4-player.
But is it like? Yeah. So, but I'm wondering if like they mean like 10 new like different
Oh yeah.
bots, you know, like because it would be kind of like, oh, like here's 10 bots, half of them are Helldivers. It's like,
Yeah.
okay. Like I'm not complaining, it's free DLC. Like I'm not complaining. I'm just saying, like, you know, I didn't see any Final Fantasy or Square Enix characters in there. I don't know, like if they just couldn't get the like the rights or anything like that. I'm sure they probably reached out and probably got like a no, but you never know.
Yeah,
You never know.
Which is weird because like they had a. I remember there was a Final Fantasy reference in the Astro's Playroom too.
Didn't they have like the Buster Sword?
Yeah, they
in
had
Astro's Playroom.
Yeah, they had his sword.
Yeah.
The lack of Square was sad. Yeah, it was really. I want to see more of it. Like Persona did it for me though. Like it like made up for that.
Yeah, that was sweet. That was sweet.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's really all. Oh,
Because Square is gonna buddy up to Nintendo. That's my copium.
yeah. Well, I mean, they might as well buddy up to everyone, right? Like if they're trying to push that third party stuff, you know, or go well, not third party, but like.
Well, it doesn't seem like the Xbox, you know, anytime. What's that?
I said one platform has the biggest player base, though.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That is true.
So, what kind of bots do you think we'll see?
Okay. Bots that
I think there should be a near one, even though it's on like multiple platforms. I don't know. I thought that would be cool, but
I mean,
like
a few of the bots were on multiple platforms.
that's
too,
also
right?
Square
like,
Enix, so it's like, you know.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
just all the Square Enix characters. Let's do that.
Yeah. It's like now that I think about it, all the ones that I want to see are like Square Enix characters. So
Yeah,
it's like, why even?
Like
Why even bother?
A Clive and Jill bot would be really fun.
A Clive and Jill bot. Okay.
That would be pretty fun.
Yeah.
No, give me Gav.
Yeah. I was just thinking as
Just give us a whole FF16 level.
Yeah.
All right, you run around like the high wind or like the base or whatever. Give a whole FF16 level.
Make it canon. But yeah, I'd love to see more Astrobot. I hope they keep pumping out this like free DLC. It seems a lot of people loved it, so I hope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know how it's doing sales wise, but I hope it does well, dude.
I hope it does, because I want PlayStation to shift towards this as well. You know, like the sales have to.
It doesn't need to sell crazy numbers. Like that game does not have a AAA budget, so it doesn't need AAA sales to justify itself.
That's true.
Well, I'm just saying. I hope it, but I still hope it. Like, I mean, I don't know what their expectations are, but I hope it meets their expectations because I think it really showed. I would hope that it really showed like some of these devs, like, you know, like people really love these kinds of games still. Maybe we should bring back some of these like older IPs.
Yeah.
Right, and to see like, you know, the nostalgia and the love that like people had for these in this game, like maybe we should bring some of these back. Jack and Daxter, dude, like Sly Cooper.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I've been coping for 11 years when it comes to Sly Cooper, but I'm just saying,
it's going to pay off. It's going to pay off eventually.
I really don't think it is. I really do not think. I'm losing all hope at this point. Actually, all hope is gone. It's more a joke now. Like if Sucker Punch at the next State of Play or at the Game Awards is like, yo, you know, we don't got a new game for you, but we've got Sly Cooper merch. Like here's like a ball cap, dude. I'll be excited for that. Like that's where I'm at.
Yeah, I did.
You know?
I did notice though they brought like one of the older Sly Coopers over to PlayStation, like online.
The first one.
Yeah.
PS5.
Yes.
Yep.
And that would be That would be really exciting. I mean, like if if it gets traction or
Well,
makes
that's what I'm
people
saying.
excited.
It's like,
Yeah.
hey, like maybe Sly 2's next. Sly 2 is in my opinion, well, it's in my top 10. Sly 2's in my top 10 of all time.
Mhm.
Like maybe they'll bring the rest of the franchise back, and then maybe not Sly 4. We don't need to talk about Sly 4, but like, dude, like, just saying.
I
But
mean,
Sucker Punch is also Sucker Punch didn't do Sly 4. I think it was Sanzaru that did Sly 4, which is also kind of why I hated it, because it just wasn't as good in my opinion. But like, they're also tied up, dude. Like, Ghost of Tsushima makes money.
yeah,
Like, they're obviously gonna go with that. Like it's an easy business choice.
yeah. I
So
mean,
I get it.
it's the same reason. Like I want another Infamous. Like I would love that.
Yeah.
But I mean, hey, at least we got both of those in Astro, so we kind of got them on PS5.
Right.
Yeah. All right, that's really all I had to say about Astro. I'm just really excited about it. I think the bots are really cool. And speedruns are going to be so fun. Landy,
Yes.
what about you? What do you want to?
Dude, all my eyes are on Metaphor. I gotta be honest.
Yeah.
That's like that's the game. To me, I think.
Did you play the demo?
Not playing the. What's up?
I was gonna say, did you play the demo?
I'm
Because I know
not.
the demo's out.
Because I know I'm a day one buy. Already got it pre-ordered.
The
So I'm
demo
gonna wait for it.
the demo does
But-
roll over though. To the
I know, but
Okay.
I did this with FF16. I didn't like playing through it in like 2 days, then waiting 2 weeks and picking up. I feel like
that's
the
Sure. Yeah.
just started.
yeah. What I do is I play it the day before.
Demo. But if I know I'm day one, I'm just gonna wait for day one.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's fair.
I
Yeah.
I normally just play them the day before when I know that, and then I'm like, okay, and then I'm ready because
Oh,
like
play like the demo the
Yeah.
day before, and then it carries over.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've done
yeah.
that before with
That I
some
can
games.
yeah you
That I
Yeah,
can
it's
roll.
like, oh, I'm basically played the game a day early.
yeah
You know?
you get it a day
Mhm.
early and then like it's the tutorial level, so you kind of just like you like if you play it 3 weeks early, you're gonna like want to replay the tutorial anyway.
Well, it's a pretty chunky demo, I heard, right? Like, it's pretty chunky. It's like 4 to 6 hours, right?
that's awesome. I
Chunky
mean,
game.
and
Yeah.
on the scale, I guess on your show on Friday, you said it was like 100 hours.
100 plus.
Yeah, that's
Those
That-
Atlas games, it seems like they always are, you
Yeah.
know? At least in my experience.
I'm rooting for them so hard. They're one of those studios that to me is just doing almost everything right. They
Yeah.
they pimped out Persona 5 a little bit more than I would have liked, but I'm really
It's their FF7.
yeah, exactly.
yeah.
But I'm really
Mhm.
hoping that Metaphor becomes their third pillar. And I love the idea of the fantasy genre too.
Yeah,
So I don't know. I remember watching like a couple trailers. I don't know too much about it though. So like, what about it? Like, are you, Landy, specifically like super stoked about?
Oh, you want to? So in Persona, there's personas.
Yeah,
In Metaphor, there's archetypes.
there's similes.
Archetypes.
Oh, there's personification. That's wait. Okay, wait. There's archetypes. Okay.
Which that
All right.
in my language, I'm absolutely fascinated by that. If they're as true to like historical and mythological archetypes as they were to like personas and the tarot cards and all.
Sure. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, I'm gonna lose my mind over this. I'm gonna-
Okay. All right.
I really think everybody in the industry can take a UI lesson from Atlas. Like,
Yeah.
yes.
When you
Oh
play
yeah.
an Atlas game, the pause menu is invigorating. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. Sure.
Shop,
Mhm.
switch, shop menu. It's engaging. It's stylish.
It feels like part of the game.
With the music. I think everyone could take a page out of their book, and I think they're also geniuses at because obviously they're a smaller studio than all the AAA studios that are out there, but they're absolutely genius at just creating a gameplay loop that's so addicting that
Yeah,
you
and
almost
it's immersive. Right.
yeah. And I don't know, just everything they're doing between archetypes, the fantasy system, and one thing I'm interested in is there's going to be no romance function in Metaphor ReFantasia.
I was thinking the same thing just now too. Yeah, I'm like for one, like Atlas
for their storytelling when all these social links don't need to be compatible with some kind of romantic story. Now you can branch out into a lot more archetypes, you might say. So
and
I don't know.
I like it.
It's speaking my language. Like there are people who are tarot card nerds. Like I'm the fantasy archetype nerd. So, and for Atlas to take that on, it's a very exciting prospect. I really can't wait for it. I really can't. I hope it's as good as I'm hoping it is.
And when you said that again, guys, watch. You guys need to watch like Morning Quest. It's like the best way to start your Friday. But
don't watch my shit.
Experience it. But anyway, when you said that, I like they're breaking free from like having the romance requirements. That really dug with me because like Atlas characters like hold a special place in my heart. So like giving them more freedom to like expand like that, I'm really excited to see that.
Yeah, romance mechanic. Persona's right there.
Yeah, there's tons of them. Yeah,
if they want it to be a third pillar, they have to differentiate, and that's why when I look at what they're doing, it's so exciting because Shin Megami Tensei and Persona, they share the whole tarot card lore. They share all of that. This is completely breaking away from that, and I'm excited to see what Atlas can do.
Yeah, I am too. It's just like,
and the soundtrack. The soundtrack's been put up on YouTube. I've been listening to it. Oh my goodness!
I haven't checked that out yet. I didn't know it was up there.
If they make a shit game, the soundtrack is a 10 out of 10.
Soundtrack's worth $60 alone.
It really is.
Yeah.
I am okay. Yeah, I'm gonna have to check out that soundtrack after this. I didn't know it was up there.
Don't watch my shit. Check out the soundtrack.
Okay. All right. You're selling me. That's a game where I'm like, I am slightly interested in it, but it's like if it's gonna be another 100-hour experience, I need to put it on the shelf for now. I need to wait because there's like, I think I am going to play it because I've heard enough people talk about it, and I feel like enough people have like sold it to me to where I'm like, okay, I will play this game eventually at some point. But like, dude, like I need to play I still gotta play like Persona 3, like there's other games that like I want to play. Yeah, and you know what? I'm
80 hours, so it's a little easier.
Yeah,
a little easier. 20 hours easier, right? But we were kind of talking about this before we started, but like, dude, like this year and last year have been like oversaturated. I feel like with video games, like just releases, announcements, especially for RPGs. And so that's why I'm like, dude, like I want to if I had the time, if I never worked ever again, right? If playing video games was my full-time job, maybe I could play all these games and maybe I could afford it, but like my wallet is screeching from the abyss. So that's where it's like it's so rough right now. It's great. It's a good problem, but it's like, it's always like that. Kind of, at least for me, sometimes it's kind of like FOMO. It's like, I wish I could play this game day one, but like, it costs money, and more importantly, games take a lot of time to get through, especially for somebody like me. I like to take my time.
And if you have a backlog, it's just even like a huge backlog.
Every gamer has a backlog. Every single one. Whether you're a sicko or you're a normie, you have a backlog.
That's true.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that's what happens if you watch my stuff. You end up talking like that.
I'm a big Landi Lodge fan, if you couldn't tell. Man.
Speaking of crazy releases, we did get a release date for a certain game at Tokyo Game Show. Monster Hunter Wilds finally got its release date.
Yes.
And
yes, dude. February.
yes, it looks so good too.
I am. Oh, sorry. Yeah, what were you gonna say?
Oh, I'm like I haven't really experienced a Monster Hunter game, and
Really,
I
dude.
kinda,
Let's go,
yeah.
bro.
It's like I might. This might
Let's
be.
go, bro.
This might be the one. I just like. I always
Yeah.
remember like my friends would play them in high school, on the 3DS. So they played Monster. I think it was 3. And I just like I wanted to get into them, but I was like so clueless about how to operate it.
Same. And I'm kind of a normie when it comes to Monster Hunter, to be honest, because like my first and a lot of people's first Monster Hunter game was World when that came out. That was my first. Dude, I sunk hundreds of hours into Monster Hunter World, and I sunk just about hundreds of hours into Rise as well. So I'm like, you know, I have like the Monster Hunter itch now. Like it's such like it's a great game. Like it's such a fun game to play with people because like you can, I don't know. I really like playing co-op games online with people. Whenever it's like you versus like whatever the game is throwing at you, you know, I'm not much of like a big multiplayer like, you know, like team deathmatch, you know, like you're fighting against the other team person that much anymore. Like that was me in high school. Dude, I played a lot of Call of Duty in high school. A lot of Call of Duty, a lot of Battlefield and Halo in high school. But now I'm like, you know, I really just prefer like this experience where it's like, let's get a couple guys at a party. Let's go fight some monsters, dude. Like, yeah, it's and it's the controls, at least Monster Hunter controls in general, definitely are a learning curve, especially if you've never played a Monster Hunter game. But like once you kind of like find your weapon, because there's like 20 different weapons, they all have their different play styles and everything. Once you kind of like find your thing, then like people typically tend to stick with it. Like I'm a glaive guy, so I like to fling myself in the air and then just like, you know, mount things and do stuff like that. But like I'm very excited for. I mean, I feel like I'm always now going to get excited for a new Monster Hunter game. Will I ever go play in like the older games? Maybe. I don't know. I feel like it'd be very hard for me to because like, you know, Monster Hunter World was like the first Monster Hunter game to like have like those like large zones where you can like, you know, you have like the monster you're hunting, but you also have other monsters that can also like show up and like, you know, you're not loading within the zones or anything. So I think it'd be very hard to go back to those older games, but I'm excited for Wilds for sure. And they revealed their flagship monster, which I think it's their flagship. It's like the White Wraith. It looks pretty sick.
It's like
pretty sick.
Yeah, like the big boss, I guess, of the game.
The big boss, yeah, they're their flagship. Yeah. And I was even seeing Xander in the chat. He was saying it's gonna be his first Monster Hunter. Dude, I freaking love that for you, dude. Because like that was the first like Monster Hunter experience for me was like, and again it was a learning curve, but like once I got it, I'm like, dude, like I could play this game for like weeks, like just weeks straight.
I just like the idea of playing it with friends too. Yeah. Like the multiplayer aspect of it just seems so fun.
And it has some charm to it too. Like especially like at least the previous two with like their hub areas, it's got some charm too. I am actually very excited because Monster Hunter typically is not known for like their like the story. You know, the story is pretty mediocre for the most part. It's kind of just like not really anything to write home about. But it seems like they're going, and I'd like to think that they're taking a different route with how they're telling the story. Like I feel like it's going to be more cinematic. I feel like it's actually going to be more story centric. That's what it seems like. And Monster Hunter really isn't that. It's really just like you hunt things and then like, you know, and then you hunt the next thing and there's like a story, but like it's not like, again, nothing to write home about. But it seems like with these trailers, they're really it seems like maybe they're taking a different approach with how like they're formulating the story, which I think would be a good thing for them, because it's that's something I've never really been super engaged with, like the overall story of a Monster Hunter game. It's more so just like playing the game that's been fun for me.
Yeah, and this is another. This is another game where the world is so beautiful just to look at.
Mm-hmm.
Like I could probably spend just they have these chocobo type things, chocobo knockoffs in it, and
Yeah,
I feel like I could spend hours
new.
just
That's new, because in Rise, well, they didn't have it in World, but in Rise they have palamutes, which are like dogs or like wolves that you ride around. So now they're upgrading to like chocobos or whatever it is. It seems like
I like them though. I do like them. I just
Yeah.
I man, I could just spend hours just riding around, looking around, not fighting any monsters, just enjoying it. And
I'm curious as to I'm curious to how large the zones are going to be, because the last Monster Hunter game was on Switch originally. Rise was originally only on Switch, and then I think they made a PC port for it eventually, but it was originally only on Switch, and it was still great. Like, it was still fun. It didn't look as good as World, but it was still like you still have like large zones and things like that. So now with the technology that we have now, like how big are these zones going to be?
Well, it kind of looked like because what I remember from like I said, I didn't really play them, but like Rise kind of looked more like Monster Hunter 3. Like what I remember of Monster Hunter 3 from like my friends playing them. And then this looks more like Worlds, which
it does. Yeah, it's basically like their Monster Hunter World 2, from what I understand.
But I'm really excited for this game too. I think it's going to be a really good time. We got to get a whole group together. I don't know how many.
Andy, are you a Monster Hunter guy? You ever dipped into it at all?
I don't hunt monsters, no.
Oh, you will. You will at some point.
Fair enough though. I'm just excited for the group experience, I think, with this game. I think that's going to be a really fun time.
Yeah. Also, like, just interactive environments too, which is something that World was really, really good with. And I didn't really witness it that much in Rise. I'm trying to even remember if they had it, in Rise. But like turf wars between like two big monsters are always a treat, dude. Like that was like the highlight of Monster Hunter World, because it wasn't like rare, but it was definitely like. It's definitely kind of tough unless you like lure like a monster to another monster or something. But like sometimes like a Devil Joe will just show up and then like have beef with the monster you're fighting, and then like now they're fighting, and it's like that was awesome.
Okay.
Like yeah.
Is that a way you could actually succeed the quest, by leading a monster to?
So like in the previous, and I can't speak for games before Monster Hunter World, because again, my first was World, but like you can either slay a monster or you can capture them. If you capture them, you actually reap more rewards from capturing them, but it costs like more resources to do so, and it can be a little bit tougher. I don't really think it's that difficult, but like it costs like more resources to do so. But if turf wars, especially in World, were like a way for like for basically to expedite the process, because they do big damage to each other. So it's like, okay, I'm kind of like, I can lure this monster here, he can like mess them up a little bit, then they usually run away, and it's like, okay, like he just did like 9,000 damage to this monster that I don't have to do. So that's great. Because, and this is something that Rise actually, I think it was actually more beneficial for Rise. It seemed like it was the hunts were quicker in Rise. Like in World, it felt like sometimes it took a very long time. Like sometimes you'd spend almost a whole like 40 to 50 minutes hunting one monster, because they do give you a time limit. You only have like a certain amount of time. And in Rise, it felt like you could do it in like half that time. Now I don't know how that's going to be in this game, but it maybe maybe they get rid of the time limit altogether. But that's also like kind of the thing that makes also I think the experience more intense of like, oh, like we gotta like we gotta do this thing in a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
Otherwise we fail.
Like you have to plan it out. You have to figure it out. Yeah, I like that. I do like the time limit gives it a bit more of a challenge. It sounds like, and that sounds fun. Moving on from Monster Hunter, if that's all, we're all good there.
Good.
I know there's something Landy would want to talk about. There is a new Stellar Blade DLC coming out. And I know Andy, have you played Nier? I haven't played Nier.
Oh yes.
Yo, Charles, I gotta be real with you. Andy's deeper into Nier and Stellar Blade than I am.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
I think I knew Andy finished Stellar Blade. Like, I know you're not done with Stellar Blade, but I don't think I've really heard you talk about Nier.
Oh, dude, I could talk about Nier for a whole podcast. Yeah. We can do a whole podcast on Nier, dude. Like, just let me know, bro. Yeah, that was.
Oh no.
What's that?
Have you been watching the anime?
I have not watched the anime yet. No, I was gonna wait until it was like the whole season was done. I don't know if like it is, and then I was gonna binge it. But no, I was also very cautious. I'm like, I hope it's good. I'm gonna like wait a little bit, in case I'm getting my expectations too high, because typically like video game or like anime adaptations or whatever, or TV show adaptations of video games don't hit the mark usually as well. But Landy, I trust your judgment on things like this more than anybody, dude. If you're saying it's good, like I'm taking that to the bank, dude. Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah.
Like, and I think it's because Yoko Taro worked very closely on it. But
yeah.
Just everything. It captures the essence of Nier. You know how Nier can be like at times the most dark, twisted thing you've ever witnessed in your life, but at other times it's so goofy and just
yes. Oh yeah.
Okay. Dude, it just dials all that up. It does, dude. It's so good. It's just so good. It gives me hope for video game adaptations into animation.
So are they following like the game like faithfully, or are they doing like something different?
So far, I'm maybe 6 episodes in, 6, 7.
Yeah.
So far, yes, but like I'm waiting for like Yoko Taro to pull one. You know what I mean? And like I don't know.
So
he's definitely gonna do something super meta with the anime, dude. Like, and it's good. Yeah.
As someone who's never played this and looking at Nier, it's a little confusing to me sometimes.
Browsers.
Where do I start? Where do I start with Nier? That's kind of my question.
It's a great question. It's a great question. I'm gonna tell you my experience with it. Because I think with Replicant and Automata or Gestalt, whatever, if you prefer Papa Nier or Brother Nier, it don't matter to me. It's still the same story. I think, typically you should always start with the game that came before Automata. You should start with like Replicant and then play Automata. Okay. Dude, I played Automata first and I loved it, dude. It's in my top 10 of all time. Automata's in my top 10 of all time as a video game. And dude, it was funny, and this is kind of whenever, we were actually, Landy and I with Lunar and Treehouse, we were doing a podcast. We were talking about Kingdom, like the Nomura interview and things like that. And, Nomura was saying how he wants to make Kingdom Hearts 4 story so that, because it's the start of a new saga, he wants it to feel like you can just jump in at Kingdom Hearts 4 and not, you don't have to know everything about the previous games. You absolutely should because of context, but you can enjoy the story of Kingdom Hearts 4 on its own. That's how Nier Automata is if you choose to play that game first. That game
Okay.
story stands out on its own. And there was the only things that for me that I didn't get, it was like some of the deep like lore stuff with some of the reports that you get in the game. Cause it's similar to like secret reports in Kingdom Hearts. You get a report, you read it, and it's like, whoa, like and if you don't know the previous game, it's like, okay, some of this is kind of foreign to me, but you can still enjoy the story on its own. And there's actually a twist in Automata that would not have been a twist for me if I played Replicant first. But because I played Automata first, it was a twist.
Okay.
But at the same, if you ask me, I think you can play any game first. It doesn't matter, whatever one just appeals to you.
Okay.
I think Replicant has the better story, and in my opinion, has one of the greatest, has some of the greatest twists, like, in video game stories to date. But I think Automata is just the better video game overall. That's my opinion. But yeah, you could play, like, any of them. I feel like you could, they both stand out, and they're set apart. They're in conjunction, but they're set apart very well.
Huh. Okay, so... Okay. Okay, so I'm a little confused still, but, like...
Trousers, Trousers, I'll break it down easy for you. Here's what you... First, you have to get to the end of Stormblood so that you can play the Nier raid in Final Fantasy 14. That's where you want to start. That's the best. Okay. That's the best launch point that you can get.
We start with FF14.
You're going to purchase Soul Calibur 6 on Steam and play.
Yes.
There's an optional off-ramp where you can go play Fall Guys and use the 2B skin. You can circle back to that if you need to. Now, what you're going to do next is you're going to play Automata first. As good as Replicant is, I actually think it's the better game. There is something special about starting with Automata that I'm actually agreeing with Andy, just because that's how I came into the series, and it seemed to work for me, and it made me, I don't know, maybe if I played Replicant first, then Automata, I would think Automata is better. But in a weird way, because I played Automata first, it totally actually amplified Replicant for me and made that like a more fulfilling.
I think that's also why I enjoyed.
Okay, then what is it? Is it Hoyoverse? Where's the new 2B crossover? Then you got to go to that one, and then you get to...
And then you can do the Stellar Blade DLC, whatever it is. But we'll have to get back to that eventually because that's what we were originally talking about. We're on Nier rant right now.
I'm okay with that though.
Yeah. Well, no, because I think Automata made me really. I think that's actually why Replicant story. I think I enjoyed it more was because Automata's story is good. And there's some Yoko Taro mojo in there that makes it like really like crazy. But I think Replicant easily has like the better story of the characters. I just enjoyed like physically like fighting and like just the game of Automata more and like some of the concepts a little more. But yeah, dude, long story short, you can play it doesn't I don't think there's like a you don't have to play one over the other first. We both played Automata first, and I love those games. I think you could play either one first.
Okay. Well, that's good to know. Like, I could just like look at cover art and be like, "This looks good," and then
I actually want to ask Andy something about this, but first, Trousers, I want to ask you. Trousers, have you played Ocarina of Time?
No, I've played Zero Zelda games.
Cool. Easy. Then I'm just going to direct this at Andy.
Okay.
Andy, is it me, or does Replicant feels like almost like the way the map and everything's laid out feels almost like a spiritual successor to Ocarina of Time?
Okay, so break it down. Break down what you're because I played through Ocarina of Time one time, and like that was it. And I remember it. I remember it like for the most part pretty well. But I want to try to see like what you mean when you say that.
Sandbox of Hyrule and Ocarina of Time. You're at like the castle gates at the bridge. Think about that also in Nier, either when you're standing outside of like Popola's hideout.
I see what you're saying.
The map opens up to you and there's little pockets in this sandbox that you go to.
Yeah.
just something about the navigation of the world. I don't know.
Yeah,
It just
yes.
screamed Ocarina of Time at me. I don't know why, other than there's some sort of like, I don't have the
I see
word.
what you're saying, because also with because you're talking about replicant, right? Specifically.
Yes,
Yes,
replicant.
because well, especially with I'm not gonna spoil anything for Trousers, but like
Okay.
later in the game, when the story is a bit different, I should say. Like, yes, I took, because you have like one area that it's like it feels like its own biome, but like there's a whole like, there's a whole thing going on here. You've got a whole thing going on here. You've got like your hub kind of in the middle, but then you're eventually working your way to Ganon's castle, right? You're eventually working your way to Ganon's castle, essentially. I Now that you say it, it's like it's
Dude,
clicking. Yeah,
dude,
yeah,
it's like if games had an archetype.
yeah. Right. Yeah. I like it. No, that's so good. Yeah. Um. So anyway, Stellar Blade DLC near. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Like,
I
that's pretty sweet.
we don't know much about it as far
Yeah.
as like it looks like there's a costume basically.
Make it canon.
Yeah.
Dude, if Yoko Taro has any involvement in it, it's gonna be. I hope it's not just a cost. It didn't seem like it, because they had the whole amusement park, dude. Like the whole amusement park area. It's a whole. And dude, of course, there is a near crossover with Stellar Blade. It's too perfect. Like Android. Like it's too perfect. It's Stellar Blade is like, it's like if Nier and like Sekiro had a child and they're like, here you go. Like that's kind of what it feels like for me. But it also, I'm not just saying, because it's original in its own way as well. But it's like the story of Nier and like a Sekiro like world, I guess. Or no, sorry. It's Sekiro in like a Nier-esque world, I should say. But maybe not quite like Sekiro, but like there's similarities. I don't know where I was going with that.
I think it speaks a lot about Stellar Blade 2, like how good Stellar Blade is if like Square wants to team up with them like that. Too.
No, Yoko will team up with freaking anyone.
For the money, dude. He was pretty transparent about that too. He's like, dude, like if it makes me money, like I'll do it. I'm like, I appreciate that he's so honest about it, because like, and
the truth is, if Nomura wanted Nier in Kingdom Hearts, Yoko wouldn't resist it in the slightest.
yes.
As long as it's canon.
Yes.
Make it canon.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I hope it's a whole zone, dude. I hope it's a whole like open zone, like the Oasis and like the other desert area. I don't know if it's gonna be that. Like I'm sure like it'll be like pretty linear too, but like that would be sweet, dude. If it was like the DLC is like it's a whole zone. You have like missions and things, and like I don't know. Like I hope it's not. It can't just be a costume, because they showed the amusement park. Yeah. But it wasn't like Nier Automata amusement park. Like it was, but it was like, oh, it's in Stellar Blade. Like that shot is not in Nier in the game. So I have high hopes for it. I have high hopes. Yeah, and photo mode.
Photo mode's gonna go crazy.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That game, I'm so glad that game's getting a photo mode. Like it's so perfect for that game. It really is.
We were talking a little bit before stream too, and like it should have had one. It like already, I feel like it should have had a photo mode, and then it's weird that games are also get like a photo mode after the release instead of like during.
So many games are doing it now.
Yeah.
Well, dude, like I played Wind Waker earlier this year. That game had a photo mode. It was on the Wii U, dude. Like I made sure to take a selfie with Ganondorf right before I stabbed him in the head. It was great.
Actually, I have played. I said I'd never played a Zelda game. I have played Wind Waker. I'm not done with it. Sid convinced me. Yeah.
Shout out to Sid.
Shout out to.
Shouts.
But yeah, I just I'm excited for it. I'm excited to see what it is. I'm excited to see how many people love Nier in the chat right now too. I really need to check this game out. Like,
Dude, yes.
I never knew if it was going to
Yes.
be for me, but everyone seems to think it's for everyone.
Yeah, dude, it's like, and also like, I mean, there's still like videos. Like, I have like videos in the back of my mind that I'm like, I want to make another Nier video about this, but like, I just haven't. Like, there's so much to talk about with both of those games. They're
Yeah.
so deep. There's so much like, there's so much to analyze with like the characters and the themes. Oh, dude, like you are in for a ride with those games. You're absolutely in for a ride.
Is there is do you guys have anything else you want to talk about, Nier or Stellar Blade related? I mean, like
under B and Eve makeout scene.
I'm curious if they're gonna have other characters or if it's just gonna be like
Give me 9S, dude. Give me 9S.
Yeah, like give me 9S for real. Like I'm curious if they're gonna do like is it just gonna be is she just gonna have like a 2B costume? Are there actually gonna be other characters in the game? Like is she gonna have like combos similar? Are they gonna give her like a weapon like the Yorha blade or whatever? Like oh, what else is there gonna be? You know, because I can't imagine you do like a Nier DLC and it's just like the amusement park and that's it. Like there's obviously
Yeah.
gonna be machines, like there's gonna be like the machine life form like enemies. But like I hope there's dude, I funny and like you don't know who these characters are yet, Trouser, but my favorite characters are actually Devil and Popola in the entire franchise. I made a whole video on them. They're incredibly interesting, and they don't have a ton of screen time, but they're incredibly interesting. I would take that too. Like they're just like chilling and just like, hey, like you want to buy something from us? You know, I don't know. I think that would be cool. I hope there's more characters, but you know, I'm not gonna set my expectations up there. Um, but yeah, like 9S would be really, really cool. Like imagine 9S and Eve like interacting. I don't know. I think it would be fun.
So good.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Nines is probably my all-time favorite Nier character. Is Nines.
With good reason. He's written exceptionally well. Yeah.
Yeah, I will definitely try these games. You guys speak so highly of them, and I love to see that.
I love you until
I
you
love
boot
to
it up.
see it. Yeah, I will. I will.
The chat will let you know too. The chat will let you know.
They're out for blood sometimes. Yeah.
Yes.
So you can catch up, dude. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Moving. Do you guys ready to move on?
Moving on.
Okay.
Sure.
Is there anything else you guys want to talk about, or I have a couple over here too.
Well, what do you want to talk about, Trousers?
I have another.
You heard enough for me.
I have another small one.
I'm good for the night.
Fair enough.
I'm pretty good too, honestly. Like I'm cool to talk about whatever.
I have another small one. I'm like really excited about, but we didn't get much about it. Persona 5: The Phantom X is a game I'm like really excited about. I don't. It's gonna be a gacha game, which they know how to take my money, I guess, by making it Persona.
They've already taken it 4 times before.
I bought Persona 5. I've bought Persona 4 Golden like 3 times already.
Nice.
Like it's.
I mean, we're Kingdom Hearts fans. We get it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you buy the same game 7 times, basically.
Yeah, they know how to get my money. And gosh, well, I mean, I bought Persona 4 on the Vita. I bought it on the PC, and then I bought a physical version from Limited Run. So it's not terrible.
Nice.
But
Nice.
I don't know, something about all they really released here was like the opening cinematic, and I guess it finally got an official release. There's no date for it still. It's out in Hong Kong, North Korea, and China, I think. And that's kind of it. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So that's like the only places you can play it. And
what's like the plot, dude? Because I watched like the opening, and I'm like, I don't know who these characters are, but like they look like they're using things that are very similar to like some of the other P5 characters.
From what my guess is, like from
it's also a gotcha game. Like you're probably pulling for like Joker, Haru, Makoto.
Exactly. I think that's already
now.
Yeah. But it from what this like opening cinematic looks like, it kind of looks like it takes place during the events of Persona 5. Because like at least that's my guess, because like if you watch it, basically they'll like run past each other at certain points, like Joker and these new cast. So I'm kind of hoping it's tied to the events of Persona 5 in some way like that, and like maybe expands on the story or like a sub story in that same timeline. I would love to see something like that. As long again, I'm a sucker. As long as the story's good, I'm gonna be really happy. And I'm excited. I got
a very volatile take on this game. Like, of course, I love Atlas and I want them to be successful. Yes. So if this game does well, I'm a happy camper. But I either want this game to be a success or I want it to be an abysmal failure. Like abysmal failure. Because the Persona 5 cow it's dry, man. It's Persona 6. Okay, you could even remaster 4 Golden again. It's a brilliant game. More people need to play it.
Yes.
But it is time to put the cow to rest, and we can milk it next year or something. It's time. I thought Strikers was great. I think Persona 5 Tactica actually has a stronger story than Strikers. And you guys know how I feel about Royal. I still, to this day, think it's a gold standard for turn-based RPGs. So, I don't get me wrong. I love me Persona 5. But, I mean, you ever tried drinking a whole gallon of milk? Okay? That's where we're at. That's where we're at. And it's time to stop.
Well, dude, it's like...
Fair enough,
it's like, okay, like, if you keep buying Persona 5... they're not going to make Persona 6. You know, it's
I was about to say, though, like, I think Persona 4 was kind of worse in that regard, right? Persona 4 had Persona 4, Persona 4 Golden, Persona 4 Arena, Persona 4 Arena Ultimax, Persona 4 Dancing, you know?
North Korea exclusive mobile game.
Yeah, that's fair, too. That's true.
Oh, man.
Game and you had your fighting game. So fighting game's pretty sick. It's a little basic, but it's pretty sick.
Yeah.
But I feel you.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, I mean, maybe. Do you guys think we'll get a? When do you guys think we'll get a Persona 6 tease? Right.
Oh.
Because like Metaphor's coming out. I think next year too.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say summer next year.
I guess a tease would just be,
or like a trailer, teaser trailer, whatever. Yeah.
I guess next year wouldn't be too unreasonable. Then I was like, I don't think we'll see it for like 3 more years. So I don't think it's even being. I don't know if it's being worked on. I don't know if there's anything. I mean, like with. The creators who normally work on Persona, they were working on a Metaphor recently, right? So like it's kind of up in the air how much they've worked on it. Like a Persona 6,
right?
If it's the same guys.
I don't know. I think we're gonna get a tease next year. I think we're gonna get a small tease.
I would love that, or like I would love something like that. for games. Yeah, I think yeah. I'm sorry. That's kind of really all I had to say about. I'm excited about this game. I want to see it. It's also supposed to come to consoles eventually.
No.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's what I think they said. They plan on like bringing it to consoles after its world release.
Unless it's an abysmal failure.
Oh yeah, I mean, so far it's not. It's been out for a while, I think. So I don't know what's going on. What's delaying a world release, but no date here was a real bummer to me.
Personally, like I'm not a huge fan of mobile games, dude. Like I'd rather just just play something. Like, dude, I have other things going on this phone. You know, I don't like. I think I don't. It's nice that it's like, oh, I could just open it up and play it. But it's like, I don't know. Like, I don't like. I'm good.
I was about to say,
what about the Genshin model, right? Where it's like it's a PC game and a mobile game, and it's really a matter of your preference and situation.
Yeah.
Dude, playing Genshin on mobile is a nightmare, though. Like, it's not fun.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully it will have something.
Like, they should bring it to PC or something.
Yeah.
You know, I think everybody should take a page out of what Square did with Ever Crisis. Yes. Hey, you got it on mobile. You also have it on PC. Like, I think that's perfect, dude.
Yeah.
Perfect.
That's kind of, that's really all I had to say about Persona 5. Actually, that's kind of really, I think we hit, like, every like target I wanted to talk about. You guys have anything else you want to bring up?
New Sonic game.
Oh, that's right.
Sonic X Shadow Generations. Yeah, I mean, I know that's been people like there's been trailers for that for a while now, but like they also revealed at the State of Play that there's going to be an exclusive like Sonic 3 level, and like Keanu Reeves is going to be voicing Shadow, and it's going to be like a level in the game, but it's like from the movie. I'm curious as to what you guys think about that.
I'm excited about that. Like, I love Keanu Reeves. I like Sonic 2, obviously, and so it's kind of interesting to see. I don't know. Like, you don't want it to like overshadow Shadow's voice actor in a way. Overshadow. I don't think it will either. I think it's just a level. But it is a very, very cool way to like not only promote a movie,
marketing the movie too.
Yeah,
you know,
you're promoting a movie, but at the same time you're creating something that's going to be fun to a lot of people, and it's probably was just fun for Keanu Reeves to like get into a recording booth and just be Shadow.
Are you guys like pretty big Sonic fans or like casual Sonic fans? Like, what's your guys' history with Sonic?
Sonic's like that friend I grew up with who's just like hurt me really bad. So I tentatively hit him. You know what I mean? Just to keep things cool between us, you know?
Yeah, sure.
I could still bask in the good memories despite the bad. I used to freaking love Sonic the Hedgehog. Like, when I was a kid, like I always loved Mario games, but like when I was a Sonic kid, I was a Sega Genesis kid. So I love and adore the Sonic franchise. But Frontiers was good. You know, I was a big fan of the first Sonic Generations. That was like the diamond in the rough when Sonic was just falling on its face constantly. That was like the one good game they put out. So I think as Sonic Generations come out while they're rolling, there's something very exciting about that.
Yeah, and it looks good. Like, it looks good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
so, I'm hanging out with Sonic again, but like, you know, arm's distance still.
Fair. I've only really dabbled with a lot of Sonic games. Those Sonic Frontiers or Horizon, Frontiers. That was like my favorite game of that year. It was so much fun.
Wow.
Dude. Yeah,
was that 2 years ago?
That
came out?
Yeah. Yeah, it was 2 years ago, I think, now.
It's actually pretty crazy.
Time flies, jeez. but yeah, it was that game had me smiling like the whole way through. It was just so much fun, and it had a it's kind of weird, I guess, because like I'm not gonna say the story was like super dark or anything, but it was darker than I thought it would be. You know, like it dealt with like a death a lot, I guess, in a sense of not, yeah. But it was interesting.
Cool.
I had a lot of fun with it.
If this gives you any like indication where I am on Sonic, my first ever Sonic game was Shadow the Hedgehog, and I loved it. Like it was like, dude, I have no idea like what's going on. Like I have a rocket launcher, but it's just like video game fun, dude. Like I love it.
That's how Sonic's supposed to be played.
I'm a very like casual like Sonic like normie or enjoyer, I guess. Like I played a lot of like the oddball ones. Like I never played any of the Sonic Adventures. I never played like any like Sonic Frontiers or anything like that. But I played Shadow the Hedgehog was my first. Loved it. Like and then I played like Sonic and the Secret Ring, Sonic and the Black Knight, which were like the oddball games. They were okay. Well, Sonic and the Black Knight I wasn't crazy about because it was just like, why am I in Camelot? Like what's going on? But I enjoyed Sonic Heroes a lot, and I loved Sonic Unleashed, but specifically like the daytime levels in Sonic Unleashed. Like the Werehog levels were fine, but like yeah, that's my experience with Sonic. Like I'm like, you know, I am kind of like kind of got like some weird a little bit of like a weird history, but I think I want to play Sonic X Shadow when it comes out, just because it's like
Andy, I'm gonna put you on.
Put me on.
You know what Sonic game you need to play? Sonic CD.
What is Sonic CD, bro?
Sonic CD came out for the Sega CD, which was a total flop. Not a platform killer like Dreamcast flop, but a flop. But they created what might be the best Sonic game ever. Think about there's a time traveling mechanic. There's multiple different speeds Sonic can accelerate to. It's Metal Sonic's debut. It's Amy Rose's debut.
Really?
Back when Sonic existed on the planet Mobius, and not when they moved him over to the planet Earth. It's a Sonic that doesn't exist anymore, but I truly believe it was Sonic at his best. It's a game no one talks about. Sonic Adventure 2 or Sonic 3 and Knuckles, which are goated games, but I'm telling you all.
Dude, I've never even heard. When you said Sonic CD, I'm like, dude, is it like, am I getting like a soundtrack? Like, am I like, what's going on? Like, is it a rhythm game? Like,
Right there.
Yeah. Huh.
Right.
Okay. All right.
A fun platformer. You're a platforming guy. Play.
Yeah, I am, bro. All right, dude. I'm gonna Sonic CD all the way to out of here, dude. Like, yeah. Cool, man. Cool. Yeah. I know that was a game that they've been showcasing a lot. They showed it at the State of Play. They had a whole Sonic like direct or whatever, I think.
Yeah,
before the State of Play.
There was a lot there.
Yeah, they're pushing the Sonic stuff, especially with the movie coming out in December. Yeah, that was the only other thing I could think of that I was like kind of remotely like, you know, looking at in terms of like stuff this week. It's more so like a lot of things at the State of Play. For me personally, not a lot at TGS. And we were kind of talking about this a little bit earlier. I'm not a big fighting game guy, but Ken and Chun-Li being in Fatal Fury is pretty sick. Like, that is huge considering those guys, those devs have had, like, I think, like, correct me if I'm wrong, but they've kind of had, like, some bad blood between each other for, like, years. Right? Yeah, so that's pretty huge that they're, like, doing something together.
Devs, dude. A lot of the fighting game devs are just as competitive as the players.
Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, that was like the one thing that I was like, that's really cool. You know, is it gonna get me to like play like a Fatal Fury? Probably not, because I'm not a big fighting game guy. But it's like that is, and it's like Street Fighter 6 Ken too, which is cool because like that is I was on the verge. I almost picked up Street Fighter 6 for the single player alone. I still might, you know, for like the world tour aspect of it alone. I
It's
still
a good
might do
time.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
World Tour is a good time.
Yeah. It just looks like a lot of just video game fun, dude. And like it's also why like I loved Astrobot so much. It was just video game fun. You know, no crazy graphics, you know, like it's just like things are happening on screen. I'm engaging with it. I'm having a good time. You're collecting things. And there's a bunch of like different modes in like the world tour, I think, right? Like I thought I remember like I in one of the trailers I saw like there was like you're like fighting, but then there was like a bull that like ran through or something, or like, and it was like that's fun. Like that stuff reminds me of like Smash Brothers level of fun. Um, yeah, that was the only other thing I think because that was at Capcom's TGS, I think, and I like TGS. I didn't really have a lot for me personally that I can think of, but that's
Yeah,
me. I don't know about you guys.
I was about to say I felt like TGS just really showcased these games a lot more than like reveals, which is a
Sure.
good thing,
Hmm.
especially like for people who are on the fence about certain games. Um, so I think that's a really good place to do that. Um, kind of really my takeaway from TGS was like, oh, they gave a little bit more information, and then
Yeah.
they showed like gameplay, and they showed other stuff like that. So that's all cool. Because I want to say like the whole Square Enix thing was almost it was almost all Dragon Quest. Like I think it was just showing off that game.
Yeah. I didn't even watch the Square Enix Presents. Like I was
Yeah.
like, maybe I'll watch it like when I get home from work or something. But then you know, I went on Twitter. I said, okay, Twitter's Kingdom Hearts Twitter's not broken. I don't really think I need to
Yeah, I
watch
didn't
it.
miss
You
anything.
know.
Yeah.
So, mhm. Although the Dragon Quest like HD 2D like remakes, well, the Dragon Quest 3, but they're doing 1 and 2.
Mhm.
They look sweet. As somebody who like loves Octopath, and not just for like the engine, but like just in general, like they are definitely appealing to me.
Yeah.
You know what you should check out too? We talked about it on Morning Quest a little bit. This game that dropped, Threads of Time, which looked, dude. Because again, I was kind of peeking over at Dragon Quest. It looks pretty good, you know.
Yeah,
But I'll say I might wait for Dragon Quest 12. I might want to make that my entry point, or I might
sure.
play Dragon Quest 11 first. Again, I've never played Dragon Quest, so I'm very choosy
Same.
about where I
Yeah.
hop in. That said, Threads of Time, I want I want 5 Threads of Times a year to come out. That to me, dude, I don't even know what to say, man. Pixel art and turn-based combat are not a thing of the past. They are genres.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
agree. Yes, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
They're definitely. I wouldn't say they're making a comeback because well they're more here. I just don't know.
And the anime cut scenes, I want more of that too. Don't get me wrong. I like all the pre-rendered 3D stuff. It's pretty cool when things cut between like an anime. Like Persona's very
Yes.
good at it.
mhm.
Persona's very good at it. Yeah, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I bet we'll see a lot of that in Metaphor too. Just those.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I think it looks better.
Yeah.
I think it looks better than like the 3D AAA graphics. The sort of like anime style, sort of hand drawn. It's computerized, but hand drawn looking
Yeah.
sort of animations. To me, I think that looks better.
Yeah.
Alrighty. I think for me that's all about it. I think we could wrap up if you guys are good with that. All
I'm
right.
good.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you guys.
Talk about parts 4 yet.
Oh yeah, Kingdom Hearts 4 was there.
Oh yeah. Wow, that trailer was so good. I watched it 50 times.
Needs its own episode. Needs its own episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome, guys. Thank you so much. This is Andy Brew and the Landi Lodge. Guys, follow them wherever they are, on Twitch, on YouTube, everywhere. And I'll have information in the description below. Someone said no, thank you. That was Bambino. But anyway, yeah, guys, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate this again. It's always fun to talk with you guys.
This is fun, man. Thanks for inviting us.
Yeah,
man.
anytime. Honestly, you're always. What was that?
I said I had a great time, man.
Oh, awesome! Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. I hope you all have a. Oh, you know what? Let's do a raid. We have a lot of people here.
Who we raiding?
I don't know. Who should we raid? Do you guys have any raid suggestions?
Kokiri's up here.
Oh, Kokiri's up.
Or the Empire is actually playing Metaphor. I know we talked about that quite a bit.
That might be a good segue there. Okay.
Yeah.
I got you guys echoing because I had desktop audio on.
Go.
Okay, yeah, that's perfect. I think the Empire would be great for that.
Sweet.
Oh, there we go. So, gotta spell it right for it to work. Alrighty, guys. Thank you again so much. I will see you guys all later. And I hope you all have a great night. Bye.
Good one.